Welcome to Cash It, the newest sports betting show from the Too Many Men Sports Podcast. It's Tony Pickenich and Zach Riley breaking down week one of the National Football League season. We have a full slate of games, even though we're only going to look at just a select few of them. And Zach, we might as well just start it off. Let's start off with Thursday Night Football, the opening game of the season. Bucs open as 8-point favorites over the Dallas Cowboys with an over-under of 52. Zach, what do you think for this game?
See, as much as I want to, the spread is a little too deep for me. I honestly think the Cowboys are pretty good, and I don't think that their 8-point spread bad. So I'm definitely going to go with the Cowboys here. Dak Prescott and a lot of pressure coming back, but I feel like he'll be good.
I would stay away from the spread. 8 points just seems like a little too much. It throws in that extra possession with that 8-point.
Yes, and I learned my lesson with Notre Dame last week.
Yeah, exactly. But 52, I love the over in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of offense between the Cowboys and the Bucs. A lot of low over-under numbers this week. I think that's because, week one, the odds makers don't really know what these offenses are going to be. They're expecting some kind of grace period when it comes to offense getting up and going this season. But 52 for a team that was high-powered like Dallas last year, the year before that with Dak Prescott, and a team coming off a Super Bowl victory in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they put up a lot of points last year. Yep. So I expect this to be a high-scoring affair to open the season.
That's a good bet for sure.
The next game we will look at is Seahawks 2.5-point favorites over the Indianapolis Colts with an over-under of 50. Zach, a nice low line here, basically a pick 'em, almost a pick 'em.
Yeah.
What do you see here between the Seahawks and the Colts?
Early season, I always take the Seahawks. I feel like Russell Wilson always comes out strong. And I think that they'll cover this with the Colts minus 2.5. I think they'll even win by a touchdown, honestly.
Yeah, there's still a lot of questions surrounding quarterback Carson Wentz and his health. Yeah. Coming off of that foot surgery, then into COVID protocol after that. I just don't think it's all put together for Indianapolis yet.
Yeah, no.
So
it might take them a few weeks to start to get into a groove.
Yeah. I like the Seahawks here minus 2.5, and I like under 50 in this game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense coming from the Colts. And the Colts still have a decent defense, but this is the type of game where if the Seahawks put up 21 points, that could be enough to win the game.
For sure.
Next game, we'll look at Packers minus 4 against the New Orleans Saints. The Jameis Winston-led New Orleans Saints with another over-under of 50. I'll start with this one. I like the Packers minus 4. I think the Packers win this game by a touchdown. I also love the over in this. I think 50 points is way too low for these high-flying offenses. Yep. Aaron Rodgers and Jameis Winston are going to be slinging the ball around the field. Don't be surprised if this game's like 35-28 or something like that. I think 50 points is an easy number. What do you think?
I think 50 definitely is a good number there. I think the over is perfect. I will go with the Saints plus 4.5, though. I'm all in on Jameis Winston this year. Laser eye surgery. I'm excited to see him in a starting position. I think they'll do pretty well.
Me picking against them is not me out on Jameis Winston. It's just I'm more in on Aaron Rodgers.
True. Yes, and he's in on a vendetta. Like, he's ready to win for this team.
He's on a mission this year.
Yeah, he really is. He needs another championship. Yeah. He needs one.
The next game we'll look at, we got that playoff rematch. The Chiefs 6.5-point favorites over the Cleveland Browns with an over-under of 54.5. I like the Browns plus 6.5 here. There is a chance I think the Browns could win outright.
Yeah.
But I could really see the Chiefs win this game by a field goal. So Browns plus 6.5 is my pick, and over under 54.5, I think over is the right pick. If you're betting the under in a Chiefs game, let alone a Chiefs Browns game with two very potent offenses, it's what are you rooting for, really? You're not even rooting for good football at that point. No. Because in his sleep, Patrick Mahomes put up 35 points, 42 points. No question about it.
For sure. I'm gonna take Cleveland plus 6.5. I'd even take them straight at plus 245 because we don't know what that Chiefs O-line is going to be like.
A lot of value there, plus 245 too.
Yes, a lot of value.
For a Browns team that is good.
Yeah, they didn't really lose that many people. They have some wide receivers coming back, Odell and all that. So we'll see how they do. But I think definitely outright would be a good bet.
They also almost beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, that was a close game. Granted, I think it was Chad Henne at the end.
Oh, yeah. The last third and fourth quarter was Chad.
The next game we'll look at is the Rams minus 7.5 against the Bears. This is your Sunday night football game. Over under another low 146, two big defenses. I like the Bears plus 7.5 here. I'm not as high on the Rams as everybody else. I think the problem with that offense wasn't as much Jared Goff as his teams finding out the Sean McVay system and having a defense that still does contain Khalil Mack on the other side of the ball for Chicago. It's scary. I don't know if they win, but I think they definitely cover 7.5. And I like the under in this game. This really seems like a 20-13, 20-14 type game. 46 points just seems like a little too much for. We don't know what the Bears' offense is going to be either.
Yeah, no.
Andy Dalton will be starting Sunday night. I don't know how long that's going to last in that game, let alone this season. Matt Stafford, first game in a new uniform, first game with his new team. Who knows what that's going to look like? What do you think?
If I'm going to go with the spread here, I'd go with the Bears. I even in the podcast was not high on the Rams this year. I'm pretty sure I had them almost dead last at like 3-10, 3-13.
You insanely undervalued them.
Yes, I did. But I still think that with a new team, and there's still going to be an adjustment. So I feel like the Bears, with a veteran of Andy Dalton, I feel like they'll be able to cover that spread. And I agree with you with the under for sure.
Yeah. Last game, Monday Night Football, the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Ravens 4-point favorites. This is the first game in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas with fans. So it could make a difference. I think that's why the Ravens are only 4-point favorites and over under 50.5. I like the Ravens -4 in this game on Monday night. I'm not that high on the Las Vegas Raiders. I think there's still many problems on that defense. There's definitely many problems on that offensive line. But I still like the Raiders to score a lot of points, especially in garbage time if the Ravens have a big lead. So give me Ravens -4 and give me the over 50.5 in that game easy.
Yeah, I'm going to go opposite of you. I think because of having fans in Vegas for the first time, I think that's going to be able to muster enough energy to that team to be able to cover +4.5. And then I honestly, yes, Raiders, at least as much as I've been betting on them, they are great at garbage time football. If they are down, they are going to score some points in the final quarter. So I'm going to definitely hit the over with you as well.
So let's take a look at one game that each of us have that's off the board when it comes to spread. Zach, what's your game this week that we didn't talk about that you're looking at for the spread?
I am looking at the Bengals and the Minnesota Vikings. The spread is -3.5 for the Vikings. I'm taking Bengals straight out. I think they'll win the game. I'm not high on the Vikings this year. And I think the Bengals, especially with I don't know how Burrow's going to do coming back, but he looked very good last year, so I think he could hit the ground running this year.
I like the Chargers 1-point favorite over Washington this weekend game in Washington. I think the Chargers are a team that's a little undervalued right now. I assume they're going to be a very good team. I think Justin Herbert takes a big step forward here in year 2. I think they beat Washington easy. If you could take that up to, I would say 4.5, 5.5 points, I would still take it.
Oh yeah.
Even maybe 6.5 if you got to win by a touchdown. I that's just what I see happening. And let's go to our dogs of the week. These are straight money line bet underdogs. Zach had the Bengals as one of his. What else do you got there, Zach?
I'm going to take the Giants over the Broncos. I'm going to be at the game, so that's another reason. And then also I feel like the Giants at home opening day are undervalued against a very poor Broncos team. I
agree with you there. I think it's the home element, the fans in the stands. I think the Giants win the game. I got them +140 money line. I'm also parlaying them with the Houston Texans this weekend +135. Tyrod Taylor starting against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That team's going to be bad, but I think in a head-to-head matchup against the Jaguars, I think they do win it. Especially, I believe the game is in Houston, so
yes, it is.
Also, first game for Trevor Lawrence. There's going to be some growing pains.
Oh yeah.
A lot of experienced players. The Houston Texans are a whole roster of players that, he's there, and I think there's enough experience there to win this game.
Even on that defense, losing J.J. Watt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of the Jacksonville offense, like, at all.
Yeah.
I could see it being high scoring, but I think the Texans come away with it. I don't hate their receiving core, if you could believe that. Brandon Cooks is the one. Yeah. Granted, it's a bunch of guys that are just question marks, but if they're all right, it's a decent receiving core. I don't mind the running back room: Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, and I'm a fan of Tyrod Taylor. As simple as that. Yeah. I think he's not going to do much for Houston. Yeah, he's not going to do much for Houston. Like, it's not going to be a playoff team, but
yeah,
he's going to win some games. He'll win a few. I still think they're a bottom tier team in football, but I think they win this game definitely. So that's going to wrap up the first episode of Cash It. We will see you next Thursday for another episode. We'll break down the games for week 2, take a listen to the Too Many Men Sports podcast. Every episode of that is available wherever you get your podcast. We go into betting a little bit more on that show too. And you'll get our picks for each game each week. So Zach, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
And I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Yeah.